Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. This is super important right now. Very happy to be with you. Thank you so much, Francois, for sending this message. I would like to tell you, first of all, that thank you so much, Marcel and Paul. I have seen this beautiful sponsorship. Greetings to all of you. And I would like to tell you, you might have noticed, I am not streaming from home. I was on a business trip these days and planned to be back home on Saturday, but force majeure, and I will be home tomorrow. So I'm in a hotel room, and Wi-Fi is not always perfect in hotels. So if something goes wrong, you will know whom to blame, the hotel Wi-Fi. But I hope everything will be fine. Greetings to Helsinki and Wisconsin and Liverpool. I'm very happy to see all of you guys. And it is greetings to Yorkshire, Trev. Thank you so much, Dan. And I am very grateful that you have found time to join the community of the channel. There are a lot of good things. Thank you so much, Serkan. Greetings to Izmir, a beautiful city I've heard a lot about. Greetings, Pat. And I am surrounded by an amazing guard of my troll hunters. And thank you so much, Spencer, Rudy, Philip, and Martin, who is on a remote control, but on a very strong control of the health and security of our channel. Really happy to be with you, and greetings. To William, yes, I do, but not many courses. That is the answer to your question. Thank you so much for joining. And today we have a very important thing to discuss. I think many of you understand that, but maybe I will provide you with some additional arguments or an important focus to look at the situation from. And that is about the potential ceasefire. That is about the negotiations with Putin. Thank you so much, Arms. And you are right, there is a lot of awareness happening about Ukraine. And honestly, I have noticed a lot of attention to the channel, and most importantly, on such hostile social media platforms as X. During these weeks of very negative attitudes from the White House to Ukraine, actually thousands of people joined. Thank you so much, Finbo. Thank you for all of your support and sponsorship of the channel. And by the way, I will have a small surprise for you later today, which I will announce somewhere closer to the end of our live. So stay tuned. My beautiful moderators already know the truth. Greetings to Michael, who is also a very strong troll fighter on our Discord. And by the way, I greatly encourage you to join Discord. There are a lot of good people there, and we discuss a lot of important subjects there. Greetings to India. Greetings to so many beautiful countries, and I'm really blessed to have our community. I hope there are messages and there is enough information that can actually help you too. Remember to like this video. It helps to promote videos about Ukraine, and right now we need that a lot. Thank you so much, Gunnar, and glory to Ukraine. I know that from time to time you ask me how to pronounce properly in Ukrainian. Glory to Ukraine and glory to the heroes. So I will do it right now. Slava Україні, героям слава! Слава Україні, героям слава! Greetings to Sweden. Many people from Sweden, and you know, I always say that I'm very proud. We share national colors. And sometimes when I'm traveling abroad, people keep saying, oh, Sweden, Sweden, when they look at my flag. Greetings to Belgium and Scotland and France and so many beautiful places. Maybe I will give you more time for questions this vlog, because this live, I'm always quite angry at myself that I keep talking and talking. Greetings to Poland, Adam. I live, like, my hometown is less than 80 kilometers from Poland, so we actually breathe the same air. And thank you so much for standing strong with Ukraine, because since recently, since this tremendous changes in the White House, Ukraine has to prove that we're just defending ourselves, that Russia is the aggressor and we are not ones to blame. Pat, you're always so kind to me. Greetings to you, and thank you so much for being a part of this all. So, guys, Philip is very right to remind that I'm away from home and I have no control over the internet. So if something happens, not me to blame, but just the hotel Wi-Fi. You know, they can be terrible, but maybe this time they will be good. I was so surprised to learn, by the way, that Minister Sikorski, who is a very strong Polish politician and the one who defended Starlink for Ukraine and whom Musk tried to humiliate, as he tries to humiliate everyone, but in the result he humiliated himself once again. Greetings to South Africa. I was surprised to learn that he's married to Anne Applebaum. I know that many of you read her books, really good history books, including about a very complicated part of Ukrainian history, and that is Holodomor. And I was so surprised that like, oh my god, they are a husband and a wife. I don't know if you know about that. So I will be very happy to answer your questions about the ceasefires, the negotiations, and all this fog. I don't know, all these emotions that appear right now in the media. Honestly, it is greetings to Belize. I always like to read where are you from, and we have some very core countries that are in the center of the audience of the channel, but it's always so interesting to read about people coming from some unusual locations that I have never traveled to, or I don't know if I will be able to visit. Thank you so much, Dan. So, honestly, there were no reasons for any serious talks about the ceasefire or negotiations. It is just the desire of greetings to Norway, a country I dream to visit, and greetings to the UK. Thank you so much for leading all the support of Ukraine. The United Kingdom, France, Poland, Germany, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Poland, Turkey. We feel your unwavering support, and this is something that changes a lot of things. Vikings know how to live, and with each year of this war, I feel more and more of a Viking woman. I think Canada will soon join the European Union, and we all will be very, very happy. By the way, these days, some serious protests are happening in Serbia. I don't know if you're watching. Serbia is a very interesting country. It's very beautiful. I have been to Belgrade, but it is under strong Russian influence due to a number of reasons. I'm the Viking. I don't mind. They are under strong Russian influence, but what I was surprised to see is that at the same time, they have very little knowledge about real Russia. And it's just like a distorted manipulation, maybe some money, some influence. And right now we see serious protests, and that would be good. Also, I don't know, I know I have a lot of good friends and supporters from Hungary. I never equate the country to the politicians it has, because first of all, virtual hugs to our American friends. I know many of you feel very anxious and worried about what is happening in the United States. I also receive a lot of messages of people who voted for Trump and did not expect him to act like he does right now. And I want to tell you that that's like understandable. Things like that happen, unfortunately. And there are a lot of things that we can do even now. One of my good friends here in Ukraine actually told me that, like, why are you so worried about Trump? He is already the president of the United States, so he got the peak of his like support, and now it will keep falling, 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 and falling. And by the way, after that very disgusting situation in the Oval Office, I am sure you've noticed that the support for Zelensky grew tremendously. And right now, after years of his presidency in super tough conditions of war, he has a stronger support than Donald Trump after like 50 days of his presidency. So we do understand that a lot of people are going through very complicated period of time. And I have already, Kia ora, I have already told you that I don't like Musk a lot, and I have a right for that. I don't consider him a genius. I know some of you were offended, but there are a lot of things he does in a very wrong way. And I am sure he will go down in history not as a great inventor, but as a paradox and a very problematic person for the policy of the United States and so on. Yeah, remember to like this video. I know Neil often cheers for that, and now I'm doing his job. So there are a lot of things happening right now, and when Trump started speaking about the need to stop the dying, he started playing this very manipulative, very dangerous game. Because, I can ask you questions which are very logical and traditionally presuppose something very obvious. If I ask you, do you want to live a long life? Yes. Do you want to be happy? Yes. Do you want peace? Yes. Do you want to stop the dying? Yes. But it is super important to understand what stands behind that. Because right now, in this super hurry, thank you so much, Vicious Patronus. Oh, I like it. It sounds like Vicious Patronus, that I am a fan of ancient Rome history. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Ad, for buying me coffee. So here I wanted to say that, of course, everybody in Ukraine wants peace. Nobody in Ukraine, no one anywhere on the planet wants peace more than Ukrainians, because all of the battles, they take place in our territory. But the problem is that many people, they substitute this Russian occupation, surrendering to Russia, as peace. Because if you listen to Trump, if you listen to Musk, they would fully agree on Ukraine giving up, becoming a part of Russia, and they would say, well, don't you remember there was a period of the Soviet Union, everything was okay, people were satisfied, so why not? No, it was a very bad period. And once again, I know I have a lot of friends here. Nail, thank you so much. I'm happy to read you. We need 1,000 likes. I agree with this man totally. So I have a lot of friends on the channel and our community coming from Finland, coming from the Baltics, and Poland. Guys, we don't need any, we know it from our own life, from the stories and histories of our parents. We have tasted what life with Russia is. We have seen what kind of life is that. Thank you so much, Kai. Okay, I have a question to you, and I'd be happy to read some of the answers. Do you know anything positive about the Soviet Union? Something that you considered nice when you were living your lives? Because here in Ukraine, like when you are abroad and with all this Russian censorship and back in that time Soviet censorship, people did not read a lot in newspapers. There was no internet. There were no YouTubers, no people like me sharing what is life in Soviet Union. It was banned. And every time yes, Holodomor, Gulag Archipelago, there are a lot of things you can learn. But for example, one of the super famous Ukrainian poets, um, Vasil Stus, who is like studied at schools. He was just a Ukrainian patriot, not trying to break Soviet Union, but he kept writing good in Ukrainian language, showing that we are a very different culture, and so on. Greetings, Spencer. You're on time. So all these good people. This Vasil Stus, he died in Soviet prison in 1986. I was 2 years there. So it did not happen only in the times of Stalin. It happened decades later. Soviet Union was a prison for people, destroying a lot of beautiful souls, a lot of creative people, a lot of intellectuals. And no, this did not happen. This did not happen only, in the 50s when Stalin was alive. This kept happening when I was already born, and I'm not that old. Cheers to that. That's cool. So, Russian dolls. Ryazhenka. We have Ryazhenka. You don't need to live in the Soviet Union. By the way, I don't know, but a part of the Soviet propaganda and Russian propaganda that was super popular all over this ex-Soviet internet, and before the start of the invasion in 2014, was this messages like social media videos, social media posts stating like, oh, the ice cream was so tasty back in Soviet Union. It was so much snow. No, vodka and Coke. So much snow. The sausage was so good. And other stuff. And oh my God, guys, this is not connected with Soviet Union. When you speak like with your grandma, and she, for example, lived in times, I don't know, of Nazi Germany, well, there was a moment when she was super happy about her youth, about being healthy. Thank you so much to Balkane, about some dates that she had. So in general, when we are in our 20s, when we are in our 30s, we're super happy because everything is fine. Then life gets harder. There are some health issues, there are lots of obligations. So sometimes people substitute this nostalgia for their youth with the regimes during which it all happened. And Russia worked really, really hard to persuade people that like the ice cream was tastier, the grass was greener, the children were happier, and all were skating and skiing and so on. This has nothing to do with Soviet regime when really good people were dying, when lots of Ukrainian intellectuals were destroyed. They were destroying books, they were destroying vocabularies, they were doing everything they could. I don't know, by the way, a lot of you mentioned Gorbachev. I remember him on Russian television. You know that I've almost finished my first book and now I'm working with the literary agent. I will keep you updated. But I already have a plan for the next book. Thank you so much, someone, and Edwin for buying me coffees. And, ice cream tasting better is about childhood whenever and wherever you live. Totally agree with you, Pat. Thank you so much, Mike. So what is interesting is that I don't have my firm opinion on Gorbachev. I can read a number of articles, and I remember that like he was maybe the best that could happen to Soviet Union and Russia at that time. Then I read a number of other articles, and I see that he was still a classical Soviet apparatchik. So I'm trying to shape my opinion. And that next book that maybe if I'm smart enough with my time management, I would like to write would be about this, my personal memories about the collapse of the Soviet Union from this nonfiction lifestyle. I already have a title. I like this idea even more than of this first book. And it would be very interesting because I have so many memories from this child perspective. And it's also interesting that you focus on totally different things. Thank you so much, Harry. I'm not that interested in, I will not speak a lot about some political meetings or rallies of that time, but I remember the shops, I remember the sweets, I remember the clothes, I remember this first years of the independence, and it was very, very unusual. And, I will tell you a joke that yes, brotherhood propaganda, that is propaganda. Nations were made to become Russian. Nations were Russified. And if the war never happened, I would continue writing for my favorite daily newspaper, maybe writing some unrelated to this war stories and history books and so on. That would be my kind of life, doing what I do, like teaching, working with my NGO, things like that. But right now, I have to confess, I love YouTube and I love this community that we have, and also explaining the war, explaining Ukraine. And stay tuned because there is a little surprise coming later, which will prove you my love for YouTube. Thank you so much, Lukasz. So there are lots of things that, like, you look at that period of time from a very different perspective, and it's kind of very interesting, because a joke that I wanted to tell you. Some Ukrainian politician shared it on Facebook. It was just like, do you remember from your school books this like paragraph from a history book where everything is very complicated, a lot of events, and everything is so like intertwined that you cannot understand what is happening, like literally tough paragraph? We are living in such paragraph right now. And hi, Imre. Are there any protests in Budapest? Because that's what we saw. And no, I did not get my YouTube plaque yet, but they say they already deliver it, though it's quite problematic to order it. So I'm working on that. And trust me, guys, if I get it, you will get it, because that's not mine. That's because you are a part of my big family, YouTube family. Thank you so much, someone. So this is indeed like, we live in a history book and we clearly feel that. But instead of becoming more boring and like more normal, we see that the things in the world actually expand, and it becomes more and more like problematic. And it seems like more and more countries in the world start living in a history book. And I will confess, I receive a lot of messages from people from, Martin will smile right now, from Denmark and from Canada, where people are genuinely worried about the potential conflict or war or annexation. And this is not good. This is something that continues. It's super contagious, and Putin broke the rules. He broke the rules back in 2008, in 2008, when he invaded Georgia, and the world saw it, and the world decided to accept it. And it was the greatest mistake, because all these punishments that Putin's regime received, they were not so problematic. For example, when we talk about sanctions are super important. Thank you so much, Godan. Sanctions are super important. They destroy Russian economy. They prevent Russia from, rebuilding their oil refineries and doing other jobs. But But at the same time, thank you so much, Morten, Ken, and Carl, and cheers to you. Thank you for buying me coffees. And a very important thing is that I lost my thought. Anna's birthday is on the 13th of August. And okay, I got distracted. Agent eyeliner, but that's like we all know, Maybelline New York is the best advertisement, and that is JD Vance. Is he using an eyeliner? Because he changed tremendously, and I also know that he is like super perfect for this. Why is he doing that? So he's using that eyeliner, and that's so visible. That's so visible. Yeah, I was talking about Greenland and Canada, and that breaking the rules is very bad and contagious for other people. And in 2008, people accepted Russia's invasion of Georgia. And, one of the very popular messages that Putin keeps spreading inside Russia, that they are suffering from sanctions, and maybe economy is bad. But once again, it's bad for the rich. Those poor in Russia, and the majority of people in Russia are poor, they don't feel it. They never bought something super expensive. And he says that we will return more of the Ukrainian territories, and with these territories and the Ukrainian people, we will become rich. Thank you so much, Thomas. So their vision is that, okay, we are losing money right now, but then we can get more money with more Ukrainian territories. And this is because, like, I don't know if it's a joke or not, but Vance does look like he's wearing mascara. And also, I watched a lot of videos where you can see how people boo him, including his recent visit into this Kennedy Center. And it was like very interesting to see. I don't know if like politicians, they are often disliked by others. It happens in different countries of the world. But I wanted to know if it's something common for the United States. Is it a common practice or not? Because it was all over Ukrainian internet. You have to understand, we are very careful watching on that, because I don't know. In general, I know that Trump is very unpredictable and he's very narcissistic, but I was surprised to see how Rubio changed, and how he felt about, like, he spoke very correct things before he became before he got his position, and right now he switched and he speaks bad about Ukraine, and he speaks bad about Canada, and that's so impolite. That is so, well, I like it that JD Vance is hated. That's good. And Rubio is weak, and that's so obvious. Maybe this is a little bit a romantic point of view on the things in the world, but for me, it is such a surprise that, thank you so much, Jeff, that you become a politician. Thank you so much, Duncan, that you are becoming like this leader. This is something you have dreamt about, but you're nothing. You're not independent. You cannot, like, stand for your opinions. You have to repeat what Trump told you, like, no independence, no vision that you are like an individual, that you are a leader. Thank you so much, Finbo. Thank you for all the sponsorship and support for the people and the community. Thank you. Little Marco, that is so sad, because, oh my God, you are like, you have these top positions in the world, but you are nothing. You are nothing. And that's so sad, because once again, you may think that I'm like exaggerating or it's totally impossible for me. But I would never like to be a politician like that. I don't know, a president or a vice president or a secretary of state with no power at all, being so pathetic, repeating what Trump tells you and not being able like to say no or to demonstrate what you truly think, to build your political career. Maybe it's a start of your future presidential term, but no. And this is actually very sad. And yeah, Spencer, thank you so much. But I honestly think that I do. I typically say that you don't need to compliment me, but looking at Rubio, I do think that I have more courage than him. All just because he is very not courageous at all. So in general, it's quite sad. Now, tell me, please, let's do a small like vote on the channel. Do you think that Putin actually wants a ceasefire or wants peace, anything like that? Do you think that Putin is interesting? Thank you so much, Kajanal. I'm sorry if I don't read something. No, like exactly. And I think, that, yeah, like all of you, like, I like this unity on their channel. And guys, I think that Rubio knows that. I think that Rubio knows that, but he keeps pretending that like everything is according to the plan. And I, of course, feel very disgusted that right now Trump has chosen to constantly punish Ukraine, like to stop the aid, to stop intelligence sharing, and also to demonstrate like that he's like Ukraine is super weak. For example, yesterday I was very angry on his BS social media, Truth Social. Trump posted a very emotional, with cap locks and lots of exclamatory marks, message, which is very fake. And he repeated it directly after the Russian propaganda. Oh, so what did he write? He wrote that, like, I have spoken with Putin, blah, 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 everything went right. And right now, dozens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers are surrounded by Russians. And I was asking for a mercy and maybe, and so on. This is not true. Like, one good thing about Ukraine is that we here are honest with each other. There are some things that our media and our people don't want to focus on because, come on, we need to remain strong. We don't need to go deep into depression. But one very important thing is that we are honest with each other. We are not lying. And if something bad happens to the soldiers or on the front lines, we know that. We know that. Sometimes you send me links to various, thank you so much, Martin, and greetings to Switzerland. I have a lot of good friends who keep sending me links from your news, and I'm always grateful because it's important to see what is happening, what is reported in your news. Thank you so much, Ray. But in the majority of cases, I surely know about that. We don't have censorship in Ukraine. We're not Russia. Of course, we may not know the location of the troops because that's dangerous. We may not know some moves that are supposed to be taken. We did not know about the start of the Kursk offensive. That's quite obvious because, like civilians, someone can talk, but we always know what is happening to our soldiers, what is happening to our troops. They are not hiding it. And everybody knows there is no surrounding of Ukrainian soldiers, neither in Ukraine nor in Kursk. Of course, right now they have dozens of thousands of North Korean soldiers to back them up. And Putin does everything to liberate at least some settlements of Kursk region to start negotiations from a stronger position. But, that is like super stupid to repeat this propaganda that, like, come on, Ukraine, you have to give up because, like, everyone is surrounded. Ukraine. Sometimes it seems to me that Trump is a hired PR agent of the Russian propagandists because he keeps repeating these messages about the strengths of the Russian army, about the success of the Russian army, and how invincible they are. Oh my God. This does not sound like an American president. Can you imagine something similar 10, 20, 30 years ago? You know, I loved watching one. Greetings to Malta, and thank you so much, Serkan. Oh my God, I should add vodka, right? But no. You know, something that would be totally impossible, like, 50 years ago. And Putin's poodle, that is like Krasnov. Honestly, I feel that, like, Krasnov is just like so good for him. When we've heard about that here in Ukraine, we thought, like, oh my God, what a perfect choice for a name of a person, like Krasnov Trump. Honestly, I've told you that my editor-in-chief was like married to a head of Ukrainian SBU, which is like former KGB that was transformed into that. And she told me, like, 100%, if Trump traveled to Soviet Union, being an American millionaire and having connections like that, visited Soviet Union for a number of times, spent a lot of time in Moscow, and with his interests in women, like, it's 1,000% that he had some contact with KGB and they have some influence of him. It is impossible to imagine that he was visiting without any problems or without any interest. So Canada, stay strong. Ivana, I think, is a Russian asset, like, and he has this thing for Eastern European women, which is also like very specific. Yeah, and Rudy explains correctly that Krasnov is the cover name for Agent Trump given by KGB to him, allegedly. We don't know if it's true, but yeah, I agree with Pat that I don't think he was working for them effectively, but I think he was just one of those, like, uh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Helen and Rini. Thank you. Thank you, Ken, and thank you. So, greetings to Texas. And Neil says that we need 1,000 likes, and I totally support him. We need 1,000 likes. Another important reminder, guys, please don't get tricked by scammers. You know, I never invite you to chat in private on Telegram or WhatsApp. And also, you know, I never demand, like, any donations or something like that. If we have an open campaign with NAFO or some other trustworthy fundraisers, we always mention that in the videos on the channel. I leave a link, but I never contact you directly. So please be careful. We always, with the amazing team of troll hunters, we always try to block them and delete them, but sometimes, you know, we are all sleeping and they keep doing bad things. So remember, I never invite you to chat in private. Thank you so much, Helen, Kevin, and John. Thank you for buying me coffees and supporting the channel. That is a great honor. That was a very good. Trump, for me, is very similar to Yanukovych. And sometimes here in Ukraine, we joke that he may have a similar end as Yanukovych. By the way, all over the Ukrainian Facebook, there were a lot of memes where we actually saw Yanukovych shouting to Trump, "You better give up, I know them." Meaning, like, Ukrainians who are always active at defending our freedom, our democracy. Nobody wants back to the Soviet Union. Nobody wants back to Russia. And that is a very great motivation. Once again, people who are here from Finland, from the Baltics, from Poland don't need this explanation. Another thing that I consider very stupid, but it seems to be quite realistic. Let me know, like, if you know, uh, is do you think that Trump is really obsessed with the idea of the um, Nobel um, Peace Prize? Do you think he really wants that? Thank you so much. Greetings to Iowa, and I'm always happy when you join the community. We don't have subscribers, we don't have viewers here, and I'm very serious about that. We have an amazing community of people and friends, and when the world sucks and it gets very chaotic and very crazy, I am so blessed that I can come here and speak with you. And most importantly, I'm very happy that I see you speak to each other, you know each other, you ask questions, you exchange messages. So we are already a family, a team. And no matter how bad word the world is getting right now, we do have this fantastic community where we can virtually hug each other and support each other. And if, like, Putin, Trump, or other maybe in New York people are saying something bad, we can come, read normal comments, connect with each other, charge from each other. So this is insane that he wants this Nobel Peace Prize. I cannot believe it, that, like, a grown-up man, a successful businessman, as he likes speaking about himself, but it seems like like not, because uh like, I've read the news, like, he bankrupted himself 6 times, and now he's getting ready to bankrupt the United States. I hope this will not happen, but that was a joke I read. Yeah, Richard, I agree with you. I had to say it because, like, he's 78, so he's supposed to be a grown-up man. We have 1,000 likes, people. Thank you so much. So I think that it will be so wrong if he gets a Nobel Peace Prize, no matter like what he does, even if he kills Putin personally. Imagine the situation that, like, they have a meeting, a personal meeting, and Putin trusts Trump because, like, Trump constantly glorifies Putin and says how great he is, and in reality Trump is just waiting to stand alone with him and just, like, destroy him. That would be good, but I don't believe it is happening. Honestly, I believe that Trump wants to become Putin of the United States. And when we think about this potential, maybe he knows something, maybe he will change something. When I listen to the way he speaks about Canada, to the way he speaks about Greenland, I realize that there is nothing you can expect from Trump, because he speaks Putin's language. He disrespects international agreements. He disrespects freedom. Thank you so much, Skabland Sage. Thank you so much, Jeff. And it's quite obvious that a person who has a very similar attitude, disrespect to smaller countries, lack of knowledge about history, some distorted imagination about the world, how can you expect him to do something like normal? How can you expect him to stand for the freedom of Ukraine if he says that Canada should join the United States? So it's quite obvious that we cannot hope he will do something good. We can only hope that we will prevent him from doing something really bad. And now, one of the main stories of our life today was actually to prove that Putin does not want peace. Well, first of all, you have to understand that Russia is a very poor country. It is the largest country in the world, and obviously it does not need any new territories. It hates new democracies that appear on its borders, because that is an example that you can get out of that Soviet swamp, that you can live a normal life. and he's desperately afraid of that. And that is why he always attacks countries like Georgia, countries like Ukraine, the Baltics. He hates them because these are examples that, well, you can actually achieve something. You can become a democracy, you can live a better life, you can have a stronger middle class, you can travel, and so on. And so also, to explain the misery of his own people, all these broken roads, absence of toilets in so many apartments, he needs a bigger reason. And as all these dictatorships like North Korea, like Russia, they need an explanation that it's not their problems inside the country, but it's some outside evil that keeps preventing them from developing and from success. It was by the way, it's a very good test. Here in Ukraine, if we have some problems, we always try to find the reasons first for inside ourselves. We always blame that we're not working enough. Maybe we did not have enough of monitoring of that system, or we need to train people to do this or that. So in general, I think this is a very typical behavior of a democratic country, to first look for any problems in your economy, in your life, inside. And in Russia, it's always outside. It is never bad economic plan. It's never lack of experience. It's never, global warming. It's always foreign agents, foreign interference. And no matter how hard Trump tries, there is no way that the United States and Russia can be friends, because these countries, they are very different civilizationally. The way they treat human life, the way they treat anything, private property, is very different. Russia is just like the other planet. So once again, no matter how hard Trump tries to appease Putin, all of that will fail. Putin will outplay him. He will use it for his own purposes. And that is why right now it's so wrong that they have chosen this very negative attitude to Ukraine and very positive attitude to Russia. Whatever you want, we will give you. Lifting sanctions and stopping intelligence for Ukraine. Too many victories for Russia. But right now, it's quite obvious, those of you who follow, I might have noticed that Kellogg, who was supposed to be one of the main negotiators or an envoy, or how do they call it, for Ukraine, he disappeared. He did not participate in Saudi Arabia negotiations between Ukraine and the United States. By the way, it's quite absurd that we have peace talks between Ukraine and the United States. We don't fight, guys. But he was absent there. And he did not travel to Moscow. Some say that he was too positive towards Ukraine. But what is also bad, that Trump allows Putin to decide who is going to be a negotiator on the side of the United States. That Putin right now has this right of veto in NATO. This is absurd. Thank you so much, Serkan. And let's follow that tradition. And greetings to North Carolina. And right now, what this Witkoff, who appeared to be the main negotiator, who traveled to Moscow recently, and Putin made him wait 8 hours. This is an intentional humiliation of the representative of the United States. And Trump eats that. He accepts that. For him, it's a normal behavior. They don't like the suit of Zelensky, a president of a brave country at war, but they are totally okay to wait for 8 hours. And from all these comments that you read online, it's quite obvious that Putin did not say anything, did not promise anything. And Trump still thinks that everything goes according to the plan, when actually there is none. There is no plan. And so in this situation, Witkoff once mentioned Istanbul agreements, Istanbul articles. Do you know what that is? This, I don't know if I need to tell you more about that, because this is a very bad idea. That is, yes, I did hear the speech of the French senator, and that was amazing. Guys, we always share things like that. And the American senator who recently visited Ukraine, and then Musk called him traitor. I'm not saying the names because I'm afraid to mix something, but you have to understand such stories are shared like crazy in the Ukrainian internet, because we also need some motivation. We need to see that there are a lot of good, strong people who stand with Ukraine and who see this manipulation. Because Mark Kelly, yes, thank you. Because, one of the bad things that we don't speak enough about, I want to provide you with this important updates, but I don't speak a lot about this internal feelings, and there will be an important announcement on, but I don't speak about that because you cannot imagine how treated you feel, how bad you feel when after these 3 years of war, and let me say online, when people literally witness all the destructions and problems that Russia brought into our life, we have Musk who says like, stop the dying. We are not dying just because we have chosen that. Russia invaded Ukraine. If you want peace, Russian soldiers have to leave Ukraine. And I loved it how Keir Starmer recently said that Russia should not put any conditions for the ceasefire. Why on earth a country, an aggressor, would put any conditions for a ceasefire? It's quite obvious. They simply have to stop invading and destroying an independent country according to all the international rules. If Trump's want to check it, he can check it. And this is totally insane that people are waiting for the Russian conditions. This war can end quickly if Trump or anyone else is super strong to tell Russia, get out of Ukraine. The very next day Russia gets out of Ukraine, we have the end of war. One thing that people cannot forget is that Russia invaded Ukraine. Right now, Russia invaded Ukraine, and all these 3 years, it keeps targeting and destroying anything. So this, thank you so much, Space Queen. So this Istanbul articles, Istanbul agreement is something that Russia wanted Ukraine to sign in February 2022, right after the start of the invasion. When everyone was super stressed, they wanted Ukraine to capitulate. They did not expect that we are so strong, that we will be able to build such a great army. And don't forget about that. Really quickly, a lot of volunteers joined the Ukrainian army, hundreds of thousands. I am not sure, I'm sorry if it will sound arrogant, but I am not sure that many countries in the world could achieve a similar example. And it was a greatest miscalculation of Putin. When I'm sure many of you remember a lot of photos of Ukrainian civilians and even women wearing these guns that were given to them as a part of the territorial defense, and everyone was prepared to defend the motherland. That was quite unbelievable. And before, like when we were still mobilizing, and it's a very difficult moment to go through this when war comes to your home, and still we managed to mobilize. And exactly in that period, Russians tried to push us to sign this Istanbul articles, which presupposed like total surrender of Ukraine. And right now, via Witkoff and other people, they want to push this idea to Trump so that Trump will start speaking about that. No one in Ukraine will ever accept that. And now I will quote our President Zelensky, who, by the way, has, because of Trump and Vance, his just like support skyrocketed. And honestly, right now he has like 68, some claim 72, but like 60, let's take the smallest that I've seen, 68% of support. And guys, this is in times of war. In times of war, people in general are very, very nervous. And with all that, he has such a great support. So the idea of this Istanbul articles was that we just like accept everything. Literally, we become the satellite of Russia, something similar to Belarus. And I think that after Lukashenko, Belarus will not have a president. They will belong to Russia. Of course, if we not defeat Russia, because this can actually give Belarus a chance to become independent. They have a lot of potential for that. And I am more optimistic for the people of Belarus. Many of them are fighting in the international legion, by the way. So according to these Istanbul articles, of course, Ukraine must promise to never become a part of NATO. NATO is not the reason for this war. NATO did not attack anyone. You see, right now, Russia deserved a very serious punch, a very serious punishment, but NATO is not going to do that. So we have to be realistic. There are no biolaboratories in Ukraine. You know, a very Ukrainian joke. If we had these biolaboratories, why don't we use them? Why are we waiting? Yes, Snail says, and I support that we need 1,200 likes. That would be amazing. And I have a question to you. I've told you that a small surprise is waiting for you, and it is connected with YouTube. Do you have any ideas? Write me in the comments below what this could be. Do you think what can it be? It is very closely connected to YouTube, and my beautiful moderators know about that. No, I'm I'm waiting for the plague, but okay. Some people say that might be a new channel. What are the other options? New series. I'm eloquent. Thank you so much. A kiss to you. So Google shirt? No. Play button? No. uh how how is that connected to a channel? It's connected to YouTube. Something about censorship? No, we have a very good. My book is I'm working on with a literary agent, like actually on finalizing the literary agent. YouTube might stop removing comments. That's not my fault, guys. It keeps doing that. I know some of you think, but no. Fundraiser? No. More documentaries? No. Greet and meet up? Well, sometime soon, maybe. Ukrainian clothes as a model? Would you watch that? Ukrainian history channel? A card? I like your versions. #1 channel in Ukraine? Unfortunately not. There are a lot of, we need to grow our community way much. Free ticket to Ukraine? Well, that's an idea for something. Crimea beach party. YouTube became I would love to become CEO of YouTube. I don't know, it's quite a more interviews. YouTube board of directors. I think it's a very nervous job to be a part of YouTube board and so on. So actually, I have to tell you that one answer was correct. Like my nail color, it's between violet and blue. So I have, there were some correct answers, and sometime soon, just like really soon, I will introduce you to that. But I want to finish this part about the ceasefire and why Putin does not want peace in reality. I want to tell you a message that all of his speaking heads and Russian propagandists keep repeating, including Lavrov, including Putin himself. They always speak that for the end of this war, we need what? We need to destroy the reason for the start of this war, the reason for the start of this conflict. Now, how do you think, from Putin's perspective, what is the reason for this war? What is the reason for this war from Putin's perspective? I will read some of your versions in the comments. How Putin thinks about that. Um, okay. Um, Real, thank you so much. Nazis. Um, Money, USSR back. Yes, he wants USSR backs. Greed. NATO expansion is not the reason. He's not afraid of NATO. He knows this will not happen. Oil and Black Sea. Um, Thank you so much, Philip. I will answer you here. Power hungry. SSSR, you are very right. By the way, I've never pronounced it SSSR. That's the way we do. Russian imperialism. So all of you people who say that to restore Russian Empire, to recreate the USSR, Little Man Syndrome, I have to read that. But the main idea is to restore the USSR, to return this Soviet Union empire, because it's always empire. Thank you so much, Peter. Greetings to you, and thank you for your continued support. And your supply of Botox. I had to read it. By the way, have you noticed you've trained me to pronounce Botox correctly? So, this is his dream. And I love it when how we interpret here in Ukraine. Do you know what all of the Ukrainians say, that when when Putin says that to end this war we need to eliminate the reason for this war. To end this war we need to eliminate the reason of this war. And we all agree with him. This is the only moment when we agree with him, because you know what is the reason for this war? Putin. So to end this war, we literally need to eliminate Putin. And I hope people will understand that, because right now we are really close to some very bad global things. And some very dumb people, they think that we can give Ukraine to Putin, and maybe this is wrong, but this kind of sacrifice will save the rest of us. Maybe to some extent this may save the situation. He will get Ukraine, we will not have the World War III, and we will live a better life. No, because if he remains in power, if he is a successful leader for his countries, because he brings Ukraine, he returns these territories and so on, he will continue. And if he attacks the Baltics or Poland or Moldova, it doesn't mean you won't feel that in New Zealand. It will be felt everywhere, because once again, what Trump right now says about Canada or Greenland may be true, maybe not true, but, and thank you so much for reminding about protests in Belgrade and Budapest. That is important. And here in Ukraine, we watch very attentively. I also know there are protests happening in the United States. People write me about various dates and various places, and I watch that on X. I know that media does not report a lot about that, but it's all about democracy. It's all about freedom. So let's do something very important together. I've told you that a lot of people are worried about the potential new wars, about new conflicts happening. And, personally, I believe that lack of knowledge, lack of experience is something that makes us very anxious. And we start imagining bad things happening. We don't know how to react. When I think about myself just before the start of the invasion, there are a lot of things that I would like to know. And I could not get this information anywhere from. At the very beginning of my channel, I received a lot of questions, and some of them were very unexpected. Like, for example, you had this intelligence reports. Why didn't all of your people, all of your civilians leave Ukraine? And then you realize, oh my God, people, this is impossible. Can you imagine like all Canadians leaving Canada because Trump can attack? This is impossible. These are millions of people, and not just it is impossible, but you have to protect your country. And one of the best things that I've learned as a teacher, as a person, as a woman, is that when you have someone you can speak to, when you can share with someone your experience, you may feel safer. Maybe you will never need this kind of experience, but getting this experience, you may feel safer. You know that I have started this channel as my intention to explain to you Ukraine, because a lot of people did not know much about my country, and there were a lot of misunderstandings. Remember to like the videos, this helps to promote them. A lot of people did not know anything about Ukraine, and it was really difficult to make some conclusions. And right now, sharing is caring. Michael, you're very right. And right now, I feel that a lot of people are scared. They are afraid that Putin or Trump can actually start the Third World War, not Ukraine. Ukraine is not to blame for that. We defend ourselves. We demonstrate that we need to stand strong against the bullies. Otherwise, like big countries with nuclear weapons start tearing and destroying smaller countries. And it's super important for Ukraine to win. This will be a win for all the democracies. And here we come to my understanding that I also need to explain to you what is life of a civilian in times of a big war. And this channel is about news, about updates, about Ukrainian military victories. And I felt the need to give more personal experience, more of the things that changed for me in my civilian life. And you have voted for that on the community tab. And right now, I will make public a new video about the things that changed first during the war for me as a civilian, and those of you who live in the countries where you worry for your future, or you simply want to know more about me, might find this video interesting. I will do it right now with you. Just a second. Not yet, my moderators. I will give you a signal. And okay, we have just went through a very historical moment, because the second ago I have opened a video on my new channel. And you are the very first people to know about that. I will not post videos very often on that channel, once a week, because we have our daily community. But I greatly encourage you to join that channel. And I'm very, very open, very, very, like, to great extent, it's super personal. Right now, Philip has shared the link to my channel, and I will be very happy to see you in the community. There, I will tell more about like life of a civilian in times of big war. And we will not have a lot of competition in comments there, so I will read everything very attentively as always. And you please put your videos, please put your comments below my very first video, and I will try to answer your videos, your questions in my next videos. And I'm just like going to count people there. So for me, it is a great honor, and you know that, like, we are this very, very close community of friends, and you are the very first one to join the channel, that it makes me feel very, very personal. Plus, guys, you will see a different room in my apartment because I'm always sitting in my like office, which is also my bedroom, and there you will see my dining room or how do you call it, like the big room. So yeah, and notifications on, so please use this link, subscribe, you will make me very happy, and leave your comments. These are not for promotion, even though it works really well, but it is also for like, leave your questions. What would you like to see on that channel? This will be very, very important for me. And once again, I am prepared to answer anything. It will be more like about life in times of the big war. Here we continue fighting and talking. This is my daily channel, and that one will be weekly for a little bit longer videos. And for example, in this one, I've told you a lot about this very first day of war. Clothes and makeup. I'm sorry, but I spoke about that. I know it may be not the things you expect from me on this channel, but it tells a lot. And I was talking to so many friends of mine who actually spent like first months of war wearing one hoodie. A very similar thing happened to me. So please, honestly, in your comments below, let me know what you think about the channel. What would you like to improve? It will be hours, very personal. Do you want to see what is in my go-to bag? Do we still have blackouts? I know someone wanted to see my EcoFlow, so that is the channel to show that. YouTube somehow does not like when you change the topic of the channel a lot. So at first I thought I can do it on this channel, but when I have videos, even about Discover Ukraine, YouTube does not promote it. And Jeffrey Sachs is a totally pro-Russian disinformation spreading troll. Nothing like Ukraine was neutral all the time, and we wanted NATO just to defend ourselves from the Russian expansion. There is literally nothing that I can say. It is a totally Russian narrative. You see, Finland and Sweden joined NATO. Congratulations to these brave nations, and no problem. Even daily shopping. I had a question about the price of eggs in Ukraine. That is something I can answer on the channel. I think videos will appear on the channel approximately once a week, maybe on Saturdays. By the way, in the comments below that video on that channel, you can actually tell me what are the best days for you to watch. And I will talk more about this like everyday routine. Anything you want to know, I'd be happy to explain that. So remember to join the community. Also invite your friends. And I think this is important for many of those who are worried. I promise to keep that channel optimistic because once again, if you are afraid of war, there are a lot of things that you are worried. But still, look at me. I'm a person who lives in my brave country at war after 3 years of war, and I'm fighting, and I know we will win because there is no other choice. Putin and Russia is such an open evil. We cannot allow this become new normal, because then in 50 years this planet will turn into hell, and you don't want to pass on such planet to your children and grandchildren. This will expand just like cancer. So our task is to destroy Russia, to defeat Russia, to demilitarize Russia. And if you're not helping us, at least do not stop us from doing that. And that is why I'm so grateful to all of you people in your countries who demonstrate your support. Check our merch shop. We have a new drop of really cool t-shirts. Stand with Ukraine, solidarity and freedom, especially if you go out on protest and you want, only if you want, to demonstrate your support for Ukraine. This works really, really, really hard and really well. Thank you for all the coffees that you've bought today, for all the sponsorships for this channel, for being my patrons. Thank you so much, Trev. Remember to subscribe to this new channel and leave your comments, leave your questions. I will always answer them in that vlog style longer videos. I want to thank Michael. I want to thank Spencer and Philip and Rudy and Martin Bibip. And thank you so much, Serkan. And thank you so much, Francois. And thank you so much, Neil and Pat, and so many good people. And Carl, by the way, you were the first one to say this is a new channel. Thank you so much, Oms. You've said it, that you like our community, and it made me so happy because that is perhaps the most important thing that I've achieved. And once again, remember to join the new weekly channel. And thank you so much for standing with Ukraine. I love you. Slava Ukraini!